Something strange happened in Hollywood this week, and the person at the center of it is someone whose life is played out like a never-ending roller coaster. Andy Dick, comedian, actor, and headline magnate, was found in a situation that had people fearing the worst. And instead of backing away from the chaos, he's doubling down on it. Because when cameras caught up with him afterward, Andy didn't sound scared. He didn't sound shaken. He sounded almost amused. And that reaction is what shocked people the most. But this moment, it's only the latest chapter in a story that keeps getting darker, messier, and harder to watch. It started outside a 7-Eleven on Highland and Yucca, right in the middle of busy Hollywood. Witnesses say Andy was slumped over a set of stairs, barely moving, while two friends tried to pull him up. Photos quickly circulated online, painting a bleak picture of the comedian's condition. Emergency crews rushed to the scene. The LAFD later confirmed they were responding to an O.D'd call involving a 59-year-old man. They didn't name him, but the timing and location lined up perfectly with the photos. The LAPD called it a medical emergency, confirming he was taken home by a friend instead of transported to a hospital. No arrests, no charges. Just another frightening moment in a long list of them. But for people who followed Andy's chaotic life, this wasn't just a random incident. It felt like another warning sign, another close call, another moment that left fans asking, how long can this keep going? And as it turns out, Andy had his own answer. When TMZ caught up with Andy the next day, most expected a shaken man ready to admit he needed help. But that's not what they got. Andy immediately joked about the situation. He smiled. He laughed. He teased the reporter about whether they needed help. And when he was asked if he'd consider rehab, his response was quick. I'm not going to be in rehab. No hesitation. No reflection. Just a flat refusal. He even joked about calling Dr. Drew, like the whole thing was some bizarre sitcom bit instead of a medical emergency that could have gone horribly wrong. When the photographer asked if he was in a good place, Andy shrugged it off and said he was surrounded by friends, before joking he'd escape from them. It was the kind of moment that made people wonder if he truly understood how dangerous things had become, or if he was desperately using humor as a shield. But someone else who was there wasn't laughing. One of Andy's friends stepped in during the interview, and their tone was noticeably different. They didn't try to joke around. They didn't play it off. They simply said, he goes through hard times. Check up on him. It was a plea for fans, for the public, maybe even for Andy himself. People close to him know the pattern. They've seen the highs, the collapses, the unpredictable spirals. And they know that every incident looks a little more serious than the last. Friends seem stuck between protecting him and quietly panicking behind the scenes. Because while Andy shrugs everything off, the people around him can see what he refuses to acknowledge. And unfortunately, this isn't new for him. Andy Dick's struggles have been public for decades. Substance issues, unpredictable behavior, and bizarre incidents have followed him throughout almost his entire career. It's one of the reasons his fans have always felt torn. On one hand, he's hilarious and talented. On the other, his life is played out like a slow-motion car crash. The comedian has openly battled alcohol and drugs in the past. Sometimes he admitted things were getting out of control. Other times he acted like everything was fine. And in the years that followed, the pattern only got more intense. Public intoxication moments. Late-night chaos. Disturbing footage surfacing online. Andy's been through it all, and each new incident seemed to push him further away from the career he once dominated. His kids, now adults, have watched this cycle repeat for years. Three grown children who've seen their dad bounce between moments of clarity and episodes that make headlines for all the wrong reasons. And then came one of the most serious incidents of all. Back in June 2021, Andy was arrested on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon. He was released on bail, but the fallout around him grew louder. His then-fiancée, Elisa Jordana, publicly detailed how bad things had gotten. She said it was the worst week with him. Every day brought a new problem, a new crisis. And she made it clear there were people in Andy's inner circle she found more dangerous than people in jail. That statement alone made fans realize just how chaotic his environment had become. She ended the relationship a month later. And when she said she felt relieved he was in jail because she thought he'd be safer there, it revealed just how unstable things were long before this latest Hollywood incident. And if anyone thought things would settle down after that, they didn't. Andy's career hit a downward slide years ago, fueled by scandals that he often brushed off with dark humor. In 2017, he was fired from a movie after multiple misconduct claims surfaced. His response? He told reporters he didn't grope anybody, but admitted he might have kissed somebody on the cheek or licked them, calling it his thing. It was classic Andy, using outrageous humor to dodge serious accusations. But it didn't help his case. It added to a growing list of controversies that pushed him farther from mainstream Hollywood. Over time, roles dried up. Partnerships vanished. The chaos became the headline, not the comedy. And now, years later, we're seeing the consequences of that long, messy decline. For fans, Andy's latest scare wasn't surprising. It was painful, yes, but familiar. That's what makes it so unsettling. There's a pattern, a frightening public incident, a moment of panic from fans. Andy insists he's fine. Friends express concern. Then nothing changes. Rumors online say Andy avoids rehab because he thinks he can handle it himself. Some speculate he fears losing his identity without the chaos. Others believe the people closest to him enable the same behavior that keeps landing him in dangerous situations. Whatever the truth is, the cycle has been repeating for decades, and this latest incident only adds to the growing anxiety around his well-being. Andy's refusal to go to rehab struck a nerve. Not because rehab is the only answer, but because it showed how deep the denial might run. His humor, his deflection, his "I'll escape from my friends" joke. All of it sounded like someone who doesn't want to confront anything real. Is it fear? Pride? Exhaustion? Has the chaos become a lifestyle he doesn't know how to walk away from? Or is he surrounding himself with people who protect the dysfunction instead of challenging it? Fans are left watching from the sidelines, hoping this isn't leading toward a much darker ending. O.D'd has lived a life filled with outrageous moments, painful struggles, explosive controversies, and heartbreaking downward spirals. Some of it was self-inflicted. Some of it came from the people around him. But all of it has shaped who he is today. The question now isn't whether another incident will happen. It's whether Andy will still be able to walk away from the next one. Because at some point, the jokes stop landing. The shock factor wears off. And what's left is a man standing on a Hollywood sidewalk, surrounded by friends who are terrified he won't make it home next time. So now the world is watching, wondering how many more close calls O.D'd can survive before one of them becomes the moment no one can laugh off.